What's up, guys? Jay back here with another video. If you're new, welcome to the channel. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. We actually recently just hit 300 subscribers, which is awesome. And the last couple videos you guys seem to really like on the F-250 content. So I figured I'd put out another video on the Super Duty before I put out a video on the STI. Just giving you guys an update. We'll do these periodically. I don't intend to do them every 1,000 miles, but maybe every 5,000 or so. I'll just do a check-in and tell you guys what I'm thinking at that current time with the truck and if there's any issues that I've had with it or whatever it may be. So on my last video, I got a lot of questions about what my build time was, what the timeline for events was, and I apologize, guys. My last video was very rushed. Nothing really went off the way I wanted it to with the delivery of the truck. Everything was just a little bit rushed, and I had a lot going on at work that day. No excuse, but you did get a pretty rushed video, and I was really excited to get it out to you guys, so I hurried through post and everything just to get it out there. So I know that the camera was a little bit shaky and stuff like that, and you know, I left a lot of things, I guess, unsaid in that video. So I'm gonna try to answer some of the comments that I've gotten most of. I try to answer every comment that you guys send. I think that we are well over 100 or 200 comments on some of these videos, so I try to answer everything. If I didn't get to your comment, I apologize, but I tried to answer everything to the best of my ability. So the first thing I want to talk about is timeline, my build time. So I ordered the truck on December 6th, 2021, and the same day I got a confirmation from Ford saying that the truck had been accepted, and that my build was basically unscheduled clean status. On December 16th, 2021, I got an update from Ford saying that the build was scheduled, and it was scheduled for the week of February 7th. So it was going to be built sometime that week. So from December 16th to February 4th, I didn't hear anything from Ford. I kept checking back with the online order tracker. I kept checking with my salesperson, and I obviously went on Ford Truck Enthusiast forums and just kind of read around to see what position everybody else was in, stuff like that. Normal things that we all do when we're waiting for our build. On February 4th, I got an email from Ford saying that my production date had changed. It had changed to the week of February 16th now. So no big deal, it got pushed back a week, which I understand, or at least at that point, I understood was pretty common for it to get moved around a little bit. Ultimately, a lot of people say it ends up getting built on your original production date. That didn't end up happening for me, because that was about the time when things started elongating as far as the schedule goes, because just so many people started putting in orders and things started getting blocked up. After that, I didn't hear anything for a little while, and then I got an email from Ford saying that my truck was built on February 19th, which happened to be my birthday, so I thought that was really cool. From February 19th to February 28th, I didn't hear anything at all from Ford. There was no update. There was nothing on the order tracker or anything like that. However, I did register for Ford Pass, and I got that app downloaded and everything, and I just kept putting my VIN in. I kept putting my VIN in until it popped up, and then that's when I knew the truck was ready to go. So the truck sat at, I think it's Ground Effects, which is where they do the spray and bed liners and stuff like that. It's another off-site third-party installer. It sat there for a couple days, and then eventually on February 28th, the truck was shipped. I got a call from my sales manager, my Ford sales manager, that morning that said that the truck had been loaded up and it was on its way, and typically that truck would arrive from Kentucky around like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when I grabbed my camera, saw the truck had pulled into the dealership, and I filmed my last video for you guys. So all told, from start to finish, a little under 3 months, which I think is amazing given the fact that this is a Lariat truck with a spray-in bed liner, black appearance package, and not all of the options, but definitely a lot of options. Lariat Ultimate, so definitely has a lot of the things that you can't order right now on a 2022. So hopefully hearing that timeline kind of gives you guys an idea. Obviously there were a lot of builds that were scheduled or ordered about, I don't know, May or June of last year. Some people still don't even have those vehicles yet. So the ordering process is different for everybody, or production process, I guess, is different for everybody. So, you know, one guy might take 3 months, the next guy might take 6. Some people might take 4 to 5. Some people might take a year. Having a 7.3, I think, helped. I think having the diesel or having a higher trim level like a Platinum or a Limited, maybe even a King Ranch, really tends to slow things down, I think. But, you know, really there's no rhyme or reason, because an XL or an XLT can typically have the same wait time or longer. So just kind of depends on the luck of the draw, I suppose. I do think it's worth noting that at the time of this video, Ford has effectively shut down ordering at this point for 2022 Super Duties, so anything F-250 and above. So that means that likely when they start taking orders again, they're going to be for the 2023 models. Now, I don't know if everybody's going to be built that's in the queue for a 2022, and they're just taking this time to focus on the ones that were already in line for a build, or if they're just building what they can, and then once they run out of parts, they're just gonna switch everybody to a 2023. I'm not sure, but I can imagine that the majority of the 2022s that are sitting and waiting right now are probably not going to be built, and they're probably going to be switched over to a 2023 model. You know, if they just can't foresee enough time for your build to be produced and sent to you, they're just going to move you to the next model year. And this is about the time things start changing over anyway. So you know, I just assume that Ford will probably start taking orders on 2023 models whenever they start taking production orders. But enough of that. You guys came to hear what I think about the truck so far, hear how things are going. So I'm going to go ahead and update you on everything that I have considered and thought about and liked and disliked about my F-250 at this point after a month and 2,000 miles of ownership. So the first thing I want to talk about is the power plant. The 7.3 liter Godzilla engine and the 10-speed automatic with 355 gears has been awesome. I love the pickup that this motor has. I love the shifting points of the transmission. It feels good and strong. You know, it doesn't feel to me like it's hunting for gears. There have been a couple times where, you know, it's skipped like 2nd and 3rd gear and gone straight to 4th gear. That's kind of strange, and sometimes you can feel it do those things, but overall, I feel like it's shifting properly, and it's never done anything that I feel is like out of the ordinary. When I'm on the highway, it stays in 8th, 9th, and 10th gears pretty religiously. I don't see it hunting around very much in those gears. And if it does, I don't really notice it. And just highway driving with this thing is so stable, so smooth. You know, obviously with a straight front axle, you're going to have a little bit of wobble over bumps and things like that, and deep potholes. But for the most part, this thing is extremely stable, especially when you run the proper tire pressure when you're unloaded in these trucks. That makes all the difference in the ride in these things. You know, the people that say they ride really stiff are probably running way too much pressure in their tires when they're unloaded, and that's going to cause a really bad experience. You're going to bounce around all over the place. You're going to feel like you're riding in a log wagon, and that's not what you want. So from that standpoint, this thing is awesome. It's got plenty of get up and go. It's very torquey. I love it. It does not make me miss a diesel whatsoever. I love diesels. I've had a lot of them. I've been around a lot of them. I've driven a lot of them. This feels awesome. It feels awesome without the guilt of having spent 10 grand that I didn't really need to spend. Now, I've had a lot of questions. I've had a lot of questions, honestly, with the guys I work with, asking about, mileage and stuff like that, how often I'm going to the gas pumps, stuff like that. I get razzed a lot because, it's a heavy truck, it's a gas motor, it's a big gas motor. So people tend to think it's going to be really bad on fuel. And honestly, for what the truck is, I think it does great. I did a 4-hour round trip last week. It's about 200 miles total, so nothing crazy, but it's the longest trip that I've been on in the truck since I've owned it. The truck averaged 16.5 to 17 miles to the gallon, going up and down, driving on flat roads. I went through some hills in West Virginia and back here to Ohio. The truck did great. Never missed a beat. Ran cruise control a lot. I run it when I can. About the only time I don't run it on highways if I'm pulling something or if it's raining, or snowing. No problems, no complaints here. I filled it up when I left. I filled it up when I got back. It was down to like a half a tank, or maybe just a hair under our half a tank. And like I said, 16.5, 17 miles a gallon is what I averaged. I put out a short a couple days ago, and my normal is about 15 to 15.2, 15.3, and over the life of the truck, the 2,100 miles that I've had it, the average is about 15.2, which I think is pretty awesome. I mean, I drive highway miles mostly, but I do mix a little bit of city driving in there too. I would say I'm about, I would say I'm about 80-20, about 80% highway, about 20% city. So for me to be in the 14.5 to 15.5 range, I think is pretty good for a truck like this. I'm gonna have a trip coming up in July, so it's gonna be hot out, and we're gonna be taking this on about a 10.5 hour drive down to North Carolina, and that's gonna be the real test for mile per gallon and how much a trip like that would cost. So I'm really excited to be shooting that video, and we're gonna document that whole process. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So if you're interested in something like that, like a long trip or a vacation trip, a midsummer trip or whatever it may be, please subscribe, because we're gonna be doing that here in a couple months. All right, so now I want to talk about the things on the exterior that I like a lot about this truck. What we're going to start with first is the antimatter blue paint with the black package. This combo has been, I've gotten so many compliments on the truck. I will tell you, be prepared. A lot of people are going to ask you what color it is if you buy this color, and you're going to have to say it's not black, it's blue. So much so that I joked around with my friends that I was going to get a sticker that said it's not black, it's blue. I don't think I'll do that, because I like talking to people about the truck. It's kind of a cool conversation starter, and I like that the color flips in different light. It reminds me a lot of my plasma blue on the STI. And I really enjoy that. So that's kind of a nice conversation piece for me. Like I said, black package with the antimatter blue, it's a really nice combo, because it's not, I wouldn't say black with the black package is boring, but the wheels and the emblems and things like that tend to get lost in the truck when the whole thing's black. So having antimatter in certain lights, that blue really comes out, and it has a really nice contrast against the black. So that's why I really like that combo. And you really don't see it all that often in a long bed crew cab configuration with the black package and antimatter blue. So it's just, this is the reason why I got this truck, is to have something, one, that not a lot of people have, that I don't see a lot of, but also to have a truck that's extremely capable. And having that long bed, that's huge. Another thing I just really love about the Fords, and one of the things that makes me gravitate to them, is the fact that they kind of have, I wouldn't call it retro styling, but the way this truck is built, and the styling, and the nice kind of, it's not rounded off, it's kind of a squared off truck. It reminds me of those 80s and 90s fleet side trucks that You know, they're just, that's what I think of when I think of a real truck. You know, the fleet side Chevys and Fords and Rams, you know, you knew they were capable when you looked at them. This truck to me captures a lot of that, and I think that's another big reason why I like it, is because it reminds me of the trucks that I used to ride around in when I was young. This is my way of kind of having that, and also having the modern things that come with the new vehicles, the creature comforts, the upgraded suspension and stuff like that. So that's another big selling point for me on these trucks. All right, and so the next one is going to be something that, given the fact that most new cars have stuff like this, not really a big surprise to anybody, but obviously having LED lights all the way around the exterior of the truck and the interior as well, that's huge. I think most of the lights on the Ram were LEDs, but the fact that the third brake light wasn't LED in my Ram was really annoying to me. And it's something that I wanted to change about the truck, but I just never got around to it. So having everything on this truck LED is huge. I love the headlights at night. These things are super bright, let me tell you guys. I thought the Ram's headlights were bright at night. These are way brighter. And the brights are bright, the fogs are bright. I love the marker lights being where they are. I love the LED C-rings. I think this is just a really attractive set of headlights. The taillights obviously are super bright, day or night. So, you know, you don't have to worry about anybody rear-ending you. Reverse lights are really good. At night, you know, I feel like they could be brighter, but I always feel that way about any reverse light. So, you know, with that being said, everything's awesome, and that's a huge selling point for me. I don't think I'll ever go back to a vehicle with the standard halogen bulbs after I've had so many with these nice LED headlights. One of the things that comes with the black package is the bed liner. The spray-in bed liner. So that was something that at the time that I ordered the truck, and right up until the truck was in production, you could not do away with. So if you got the black appearance package, you had to keep the bed liner. A lot of people who had the bed liner as an a la carte option were able to delete that and get their builds pushed through quicker. I was not, so I had to kind of wait on it. And from what I understand, at the time my truck was produced, Ford was taking that into account. And if you had a vehicle that the bed liner was, or the spray-in bed liner was part of the package that you ordered, they were pushing you through with the bed liner and basically telling everybody else that they either had to wait for their bed liner or delete it to get pushed through. So I got really, really lucky that I got my spray-in bed liner, but this is the first spray-in bed liner I've ever had. And guys, let me tell you, it is so nice to finally have a spray-in bed liner. I can throw stuff in the bed and not have to worry about it marking up my bed or anything like that. I don't have to buy my WeatherTech Tech liner like I had in my Ram. Although I really loved my Tech liner and I'm glad that I had it. It did everything that I ever asked it to do. And I would recommend it to anybody if they didn't want a bed liner, or even if they had a spray-in bed liner, just to throw the Tech liner over top of it. But I'm really glad I don't have to do that. That's another expense that I don't have to incur after I purchase the truck. It's all wrapped up into my payment. So I'm happy with that. It's beautiful, it looks great, it feels great. I don't see it being thin or not as good as something like a Line X or a Rhino liner aftermarket bed liner. I feel like this is going to perform the way that I would, you know, expect it to. For the video, I will say that my payload is 2,700 pounds in this truck. F-250, Lariat, crew cab, long bed, 7.3 four-wheel drive with the 355 electronic axle lock, gearing in the back. That's what it's going to get you. I don't have anything special on here, any extra equipment. It's just the Lariat Ultimate package. I don't have any adaptive steering or any crazy stuff, no cameras, no nothing else. So hopefully that helps you guys out if you're kind of looking to see where you need to be as far as payload goes to be able to haul what you want to haul. Now I want to talk about the interior options that I have and some of the things that I really enjoy about the interior of this truck. So first things first, obviously gonna have to be the 12-inch Sync 4 head unit. Guys, I don't think I've ever been so excited for a head unit in all of my life, aside from my Android head unit that I have in my STI. This head unit is phenomenal. I love how responsive it is. I love the size. I love how legible everything is. I love all the information that you can pull from it. I love how it's a lot more user-friendly than the Sync 3, which is the previous generation, and I think they only went up to an 8-inch on that. Sync 3 was okay, but I felt like it had a lot of limitations, and it had a lot of buggy issues that I just... anytime I would drive one or anytime I would ride in one with a friend who had one, I just never really liked it. And it also looked outdated. Let's just be honest. This Sync 4 is beautiful. The screen is beautiful. It's nice and glossy. And I know a lot of people don't like that. And they would like to have something a little bit more matte looking or resistant to fingerprints, and they do make screen protectors that help with that, so that's definitely an option if that's the way you like it. But for me, I just keep a microfiber rag in the truck, and when it gets too smudgy, I wipe it off. No big deal. Obviously, it goes without saying that if you have a truck or a car that is, a 2022 or newer, likely it has CarPlay and Android Auto. Obviously, this does. It works flawlessly. It's wireless or wired, and I can honestly say that I've not used it wired since I got the truck. I've exclusively used it wireless, and it has worked every time that I've gotten in the truck and started it up. It connects automatically. I don't have to do anything at all. The projection's perfect. It's not laggy or anything like that. And I know it's kind of trivial, but the wireless charging in this truck is great. It's nice to have that option, not to have any cords just laying around. I can just kind of throw my phone on the wireless charger and go. And that is awesome for me. That is exactly what I want. The other thing, and I mentioned this in the things that I loved most about my Ram truck video, storage is a big deal for me. So having as much storage as they do in this truck, I don't feel like I gave up anything coming from the Ram to this. Yes, I did give up a lot of the storage that I had in my big center console with the sliding cup holder, but you know what? I gained it in a lot of other places that I didn't have storage before with the Ram. Plus, I've got the 8-foot bed, so things that used to go in the truck because they wouldn't, I couldn't fit everything in the bed or vice versa. I've got plenty of room for that now, so no big deal there. I don't feel like I lost anything. I'm not, looking for places to put stuff. I have plenty of storage in here, so that's a huge selling point for me. My wife hasn't quite figured out where she wants to put her purse whenever she gets in, but she'll figure out a place that works for her. So now I want to talk about some cool stuff that just I like it, inside and out. First thing I want to talk about is the tailgate step. I love the tailgate step. Not only is it a cool party trick, but it really is helpful getting in and out of the bed of the truck. I find when I wash the truck, I need to get the roof. I don't have a ladder handy a lot of the time, so I can't get it from either side of the truck. So what I do, when I'm washing the sides, is I'll pop up on the running board, and when I need to do the back side, I hop up in the bed using the step, and it's perfect. I don't have to worry about slipping and hurting myself or whatever, getting down. I've got something to hold on to. It's great, and it's going to be great whenever we start using the bed of the truck to load things and haul stuff. So definitely glad that the Ultimate package has that, because it's something I really wanted with this truck anyway. The LED bed lighting. This is something that I really wish that I had on the Ram. I didn't, and I was going to add it to the truck again. That's one of the things I never got to adding to the truck. But if I had kept it any longer, I probably would have thrown the OEM bed lighting in there, but the Ultimate package has that standard. So now I've got my LED bed lighting, and trust me folks, it is very bright and I love it. And I cannot wait to get my backflip MX4 on this truck. So when I have the cover totally closed, I've got some light back there with the LED lights. That's something that I really hated about my Ram, is that I didn't have LED bed lighting when my cover was down, so I couldn't see anything going on. So I had to bring a flashlight or stick like one of those sticky light switch lights in there to light up my bed, and that wasn't cutting it. The cargo light, even when the bed was open, even when the cover was up, I couldn't see anything with it. So having the LED cargo light and the bed lights on the sides is really going to be awesome. One of the things that I haven't used quite yet are the auxiliary switches, and those are something that I wanted in the truck, because my biggest pet peeve whenever people add things to the truck aftermarket is that they have switches and buttons everywhere that it just doesn't look good. It's not really good for the truck to put things on the battery terminals like that either. So having the upfitter switches is really cool for me, and I will probably use those to run either an onboard compressor or something like that when the time comes. I plan on utilizing these auxiliary switches. I don't just want them to sit here because they look cool. I actually want to use them. So we'll find stuff to put on those bad boys, wire them up, and show you what that looks like and how awesome it is to have all that included in the truck. And of course, I could not talk about the cool things I love about this truck, me being a tech guy, without talking about the Ford Pass app. This thing is awesome. If you're a Ram guy and you use the Uconnect app with your truck and you're coming over to Ford, you definitely want to make sure you download the Ford Pass app, guys. It is awesome. Not only do you get access to the points that you earn when you bought your truck or when you have service or when you buy parts and accessories and stuff like that, you can keep track of all that stuff in the app. But you can start your truck, you can lock your truck, you can set off your horns, you can see what your maintenance schedule looks like. Your truck will alert you when your tires are low or when you need service or whatever it may be right through that app. So you're always connected to your truck. And guess what? Ford isn't charging you for it. As far as I know, it's free for the life of the vehicle, unless somebody tells me otherwise. And it works. Unlike Uconnect, where it would sometimes work, sometimes wouldn't work. You know, maybe it would work if you held your tongue right, or you'd have to make sure your phone was up to date, or, you know, whatever it may be, or, you know, it was so inconsistent. The Ford Pass app is leaps and bounds above where the Uconnect app was, and that is one thing that I'm very disappointed with Ram in, is that it wasn't a better system. So this is just totally, you know, it totally made me feel so much better about using that service, and I use it way more than I ever used Uconnect, just because it works. So that's the cool techie thing that I love the most, outside of the 12-inch Sync 4 system. So it wouldn't be an honest video if I didn't share with you some of the things that, it's not that I dislike or whatever, or makes me you know, not like the truck. Maybe something that irked me or annoyed me or I thought was a little weird. But there are just some little quirks and things like that that, you know, I'm just like, why, you know? So let's talk about the first thing, and the first thing is going to come in the form of quality control. So when I picked the truck up, you guys probably saw me go around it and stuff like that. There's some panel gap on the passenger side, front door versus the rear door, which I guess it's not panel gap, it's misalignment, front door to rear door. It's not super noticeable. The driver's side's perfectly fine, and so it's not a big deal, but it is something that, you know, I didn't experience with my Ram. Everything lined up perfectly on that. It could be a result of rushed production. You know, that's something that I did notice right off the bat that was kind of weird to me, and it's something that would probably bother somebody a lot if it were more noticeable, but for me it's not super noticeable. It's very minimal on my truck, so I'm not really too worried about it. The other thing that bothered me about the quality control, and I don't know if maybe it's just standard, maybe this is just how they do it, on my Ram, both the front seat driver and passenger side seatbelt buckle receiver had felt on the back, so that when it hit the center console, it didn't scratch the side of the center console. On this F-250, only the passenger side has that felt. So I'm going to get some felt from Amazon and just wrap the back of this so that I don't hear it rattle, and it doesn't rub against that and scratch my my center console. It's really small. It's a super small thing, and it's like something I can very easily take care of. But that is something I did notice, and that's just where my attention to detail goes with things like that. I think perhaps the biggest, most glaring thing to me, as far as quality controls that I've found so far, is actually the F-250 garnish on the fender where the door and fender meet, that says Lariat and F-250 on it. I was getting gas. I think the first time I was getting gas in the truck, I turned around, I had the driver door shut. I looked down the side of the truck and I thought, man, it's really like, I didn't realize that that badge stuck out like that. You know, it doesn't look like it would from pictures or whatever. And the more I got to looking at it, the more I realized that it wasn't, you know, made that way. It was actually, somebody didn't seat it all the way down whenever they put the badge in. I went around to the passenger side. It's totally flush with the fender. Lays right, looks really good. So that's something that I caught, you know, whether it's a big deal or not, I mean, it's not a huge deal to me. I just thought it was a little weird and something that definitely got looked over in QC. But it's an easy enough fix. We just need to pop the badge out, push the garnish back down onto it, and then pop it back on. Something that I can do in like less than 5 minutes, so I'm not really terribly worried about it. It's just something I wanted to point out. For those of you who get yours, that's something to look for. Maybe the dealership can take care of it for you before you take delivery of it. That way you don't have to worry about it. The other thing that I don't like about the truck is, and it's something that we're going to be taking care of probably in the next video, or one of the next couple of videos on the Super Duty, is the chrome strip on the tail, where the tailgate handle is. It's the black appearance package. There's no chrome anywhere on this truck. Honest to goodness, it kind of annoys me. So I'm going to get rid of that with some vinyl. I'm going to do some satin black vinyl. I've got a bunch left over from where I wrap my interior pieces on the STI. So I'm just going to cut a portion of that out. We're going to wrap it up. It's a super cheap and easy fix. Why wouldn't I just do it? It just kind of ties everything together. The other thing that we're going to be doing a video on, and this is going to come soon as well, and we may do this in the video with the blackout for that chrome strip on the tailgate, that's going to be the trimmer valance. And I don't know if I'm going to make my own or if I'm going to get a trimmer, an OEM trimmer valance, because I think right now, or at least when I looked earlier this week, they're actually on national back order. There are probably some dealers who have them in stock, and I'm going to have my parts guy do a search and see if I can get one shipped, and I think I'll probably just use my Ford Pass points to purchase that, and that way there's no money out of pocket, and I can give you guys an awesome video on this long bed black package antimatter blue with the trimmer valance, because I think it's going to change the entire look of the front bumper. The last three things I don't like about this truck are things that we can actually fix. So with the FORScan tool, we can fix these next three issues. So the first thing we're going to fix with FORScan is the little 2 or 3 honks whenever you hop out with the key in your pocket. The other thing we're going to fix in FORScan is the Lincoln Auto Fold. The power fold on these mirrors I love. I'm so glad I have it. I didn't have it. It was manual fold on my Ram, but I would like for them to power fold automatically when I start and shut off the truck. So we're going to program that. We're going to do the Lincoln Auto Fold, I think is what it's called. And then I'm also going to change the TPMS threshold, because I do run lower pressure in the front and rear tires than what the door says. So obviously I'm going to trigger my TPMS light. I've been running around with the TPMS light on since I bought the truck, and I'm tired of looking at it. Oh, one more thing before I forget that I thought was really, really strange. So the controls to be able to divert air to the different vents in your truck, I think it's very strange. So they don't give you a hard button to be able to cycle through the modes. Unfortunately, what they give you is a button that has, I guess it links to a shortcut on the screen. And when you hit that button, it brings up your climate control, which is on the screen, and you can select where your air is going to be, whether it's defrost, top and bottom vents, or whatever it may be, or a combination of the three. For me, it would be nice if that button just cycled through the different modes, but it doesn't. It doesn't matter how many times you hit it, it just brings up the dialogue on the screen, and then you have to select from there. So that's kind of annoying to me, but I don't change my vents and stuff that often, so it's not really that big of a deal. But you know, just for future reference, you know, they definitely could have just made that so that you could push the button, you know, 2 or 3 times and have the setting that you want, instead of having to push the button then switch over to the screen. I thought that was just really strange. So guys, that's going to be it for this one. If you like this video just because you liked it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. If it helped you out, hit the thumbs up button. If you don't want to miss any content on the F-250 or the STI, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. That way you don't miss anything that I've got coming up. Like I said, I do have some content coming out that you guys are not going to want to miss on the Super Duty. We've got the trimmer valence coming, and then we've got some WeatherTech mats, surprise, and we've got the backflip MX4 inbound, so definitely keep an eye peeled for those. And then we've got obviously the do-it-yourself mod with the vinyl on the strip on the tailgate. So if you guys don't want to miss those videos, if you're thinking about doing those yourself, and you want to see kind of what it looks like on somebody else's truck, or you're just curious what it makes my truck look like, definitely tune in for those. I would really love to see you for those videos. And again, like I said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing, for commenting. It means a lot to me. I know I always say this, but it really does mean a lot, you know, to grow a community around this truck and to go through this journey with you guys, of making it my own, taking it on trips, things like that, just going through life with it. It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy having you guys there. So of course, keep the good comments coming. If you've ordered a truck, or you just got your truck, or if you're sadly waiting in production limbo, let me know in the comments. And if you've gotten your truck, let me know what your favorite thing is about it. But take it easy, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.